I'm at the house of Spencer Overton, and we're about to commit a felony. Fraud? Money laundering? Cooking crystal meth with stolen orphan children? Not exactly. I'm Dalton Lilley with Breaking the Law, and we investigate intrusive laws, the lawmakers who make them, and the lawbreakers who break them. And today, we're gonna make some beer.
I'm receiving a message from the law, wondering how I was getting along. Was I ever gonna write it all?
You see, Spence, like an estimated 5,000 other Alabamans, likes to brew his own beer. However, Alabama is the only state left where it is completely illegal to home brew. It can land you a fine of up to $2,000 or a year in prison. And it's not something that's overlooked either. The state's gone after home brewers in the past, a beer and wine store in 2012, and even a prosecutor from Mobile County. Looks like all the kids just want to brew their own beer. The worst part about it, a lot of these beer lovers don't even know that they're breaking the law. And then there are those that are just so passionate that they don't even care. And that brings me to my man Spence. Cheers, Spence.
Cheers.
I'm the day bartender at the Early Bird Saloon, and from 6 o'clock to noon, I pour breakfast for the soul.
All right, so what exactly do we have going on here?
So this is a really basic homebrew setup. I do 5-gallon batches. This Gatorade cooler is my mash and lauter tun. So I'll put grain into here, and the whole point of this is for starch conversion into sugars. So basically all the grain goes into here and it'll steep for about 60 minutes. Then I'll transfer that into my boil kettle. I'll rinse those grains and add that second runnings into here. We'll boil for about 60 minutes, and that's where all the hops come in. I've got hops on a table behind me. Several hop additions on this beer. It's a pale ale. So I'm using a couple different types of American hops. So basically we'll boil that for 60 minutes. Then I'll cool it down with this immersion chiller behind me. So after that, it'll ferment for 2 to 3 weeks, and then I'll bottle it up and it'll be ready to drink.
So how do we get started? That's the real question.
We are ready to go right now.
Okay, well, let's do this.
Right on.
Oh, do I need to put my beer down?
Maybe.
Okay.
So if you'll grab that lid
Okay.
And just set it behind on the table, if that's all right. Might get a little hot.
Okay.
All right. All right,
Okay.
so basically as soon as this grain starts going
Okay.
in, you start stirring, and just make sure it all gets mixed up. You don't want any dough balls in there.
Now is this, I can just...
Oh yeah, it's just like cereal. It's like grape nuts.
Now is it a particular way I need to stir?
Not
is
at
this
all.
good stirring form?
You have great form.
Thank you. I practiced beforehand.
Hopefully we're gonna hit right around 152 degrees. That's what we're hoping for.
So 1 + 1 = beer,
If
is
not,
what you're telling me.
I'm gonna blame it on you.
That's fine. Well, we've got some stuff on the table, so while this is
Absolutely.
going, why don't we step back here and you can kind of explain a couple
Sure.
things to me?
Yeah. So the coolest thing on the table is right in front of you. This is a yeast starter. So basically, in Alabama, it's legal for us to do all of this, but it becomes illegal when we add this to the finished product. So technically, it's legal to brew wort, but it is illegal to add yeast to it.
So you can have like the pre-beer,
Sure, yeah.
but you just can't go full beer.
Barley tea, yeah, that's
Okay.
basically what it is. But adding the yeast is what creates the alcohol, of course. And at that point, that's where the law in Alabama says, you know, that's illegal.
Birmingham Street. Spoon man's here and the folk man's near. Snake charm in between. 5 fellow freaks in a Cadillac hearse down a Birmingham Street.
Hey, Dalton, how was your meeting with the home brewer?
Renee was a little confusing. Not on how to make the beer, how to drink it. I know how to drink it. But I kind of thought we'd be out in the woods with a couple of hillbillies on an episode of Moonshiners, or in a 1920s style speakeasy.
Now that's a tomato worth picking. Hey, dog. You're the bee's knees, the real McCoy, the cat's meow. Say, what's a Sheba like you doing in a juice joint like this anyway? Ah, playing coy. What do you say me and you get spifficated?
Yeah, I'm here in the 21st century, and I'll tell you, I'm not happy that there aren't any speakeasies, but I am okay with the fact that we didn't end up in the boonies.
What kind of beer did you two make?
We made a pale ale, which I know from experience in my research that it's not actually pale, it's more of an amber color.
That is true. And been around for almost 300 years. It's one of my favorites.
Really? Huh. I pegged you as more of a pinky up, fruity champagne type of girl.
I can be on certain nights.
Okay, but seriously, how can it be illegal to make your own beer? What's the deal with this state?
Well, Alabama does certainly have their own take on this law. And in 1978, when President Jimmy Carter was in office, he signed a bill that made it legal federally.
Okay.
Now, it wasn't until 2013 that Mississippi passed it to be okay, and Alabama now is the only state still that criminalizes the practice.
Well, that's ridiculous.
But, Dalton, don't you fear. That could be coming to a change very quickly.
Why? They're going to elect Jimmy Carter as governor?
No, I don't think so. I'm actually getting ready to talk to State Representative Mac McCutcheon, who introduced a bill that would legalize it for Alabamians that are 21 and up to homebrew their own beer, wine, and cider.
Well, awesome.
Oh, and actually, I'm a little late, so I've got to run. Wish me luck.
Okay, good. Do you know anybody that homebrews?
A couple people in the past, but not currently.
Okay, that live in Alabama?
Yes.
All right, wait, don't worry, nobody's gonna get in any trouble or anything. Did you know that it's illegal to homebrew in the state of Alabama?
Yeah, I actually heard that recently. I didn't know that at the time when my friends were doing that, but yeah.
I didn't know that, no.
Well, if you had to guess, why do you think Alabama still restricts homebrewing? Like, what do you think that they think the problems with it are?
I don't really see a big reason. I don't know what their reason would be for it either.
So what do you think the people out there, why do you think that they're so against this? Why do you think that it's still a law and they haven't followed suit with the other?
That right there. Can't collect tax on it.
What's the difference between homebrewing and maybe going to the gas station and picking up a six-pack of beer?
You're buying it, you're giving back, you're buying it and giving back to the distributors, and if you make it, you're making your own money.
I guess some authenticity to it, or maybe some uniqueness to what they're doing, different flavors that you maybe can't get at a gas station.
Alabama chicken, show me the way. Alabama chicken got something to say. Look 'em in the eye, a bird don't lie. Alabama chicken.
I am State Representative Mac McCutcheon, State Representative in District 25.
I'm Dr. Bill Day, former Director of American Character Builders, which is the educational organization related to ALCAP, the Alabama Citizens Action Program.
And I know one thing that has come up in our conversation here is especially alcohol. And as you know, we're here visiting, talking to different people about House Bill number 9.
House Bill number 9 is a bill to give the freedom to an individual within the confines of their home to brew an alcoholic beverage that has alcohol content but is not for sale.
Okay, ALCAP began in 1937. It began as a spin-off of the repeal of Prohibition. It really focused and centered on alcohol, some of the problems that were related to it.
Now, this isn't the first time this bill has kind of made it as far as it has and then got denied. Why do you think in the past people have opposed it?
I think there's a variety of reasons. Some are religious reasons and people's individual beliefs and faith and just having an issue with alcohol in general. I think another one was the fact that people were not educated to what homebrewing was.
Okay, ours is an abstinence organization. We feel like that if you don't start something, you have to worry about stopping it. And most people, they look at alcohol, they think, well, you know, this is just a social beverage. It's a lubricant that allows us to interact on a good basis. Well, it's not. It's a psychotropic drug.
There's always the opportunity for people to abuse alcohol. But to me, I think the issue is more of the abuse rather than the alcohol or the beverage itself. And that's one thing that I have tried to explain to my colleagues is that, you know, we need to not be narrow-minded on this.
Alcoholism is a real problem in America. You have about 19 million Americans that are addicted. So these are alcoholics that are dealing with issues. Our society pays for that in the long run. So we're trying to educate, inform, and restrict and limit the expansion of all these various drugs that are involved.
We've probably got one of the most restrictive amounts that you can store within your home of any homebrew bill nationwide. And we put a limitation on that, so that, and that was to address the issue of alcohol being stored at the home where there may be children.
I know during Prohibition everybody said, well, hey, if you will legalize the purchase of alcohol, there will be no market for moonshine. You have more moonshine consumed today than ever before because of its content of alcohol. And what
I think it's been a process of being educated about what homebrewing is, what homebrewers do, and being also educated as to the law itself.